Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So this video is a quick preview for an upcoming fight that goes down this weekend. Takes place on Showtime in the USA. It is being held at the Armory in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And the fight is for the vacant IBF Super Lightweight World title, and it will be contested between Subriel Matias and Jeremias Ponce. Now, from what I've seen online, nobody's talking about this fight, yet they should be. If you like blood and guts, back and forth action, violence in your boxing, then guess what? This is the fight for you. It could get a little bloody. Don't tell Ben Davison, for Christ's sake. You know, thank God he's not involved. But anyway, I digress. Subriel Matias versus Jeremias Ponce, in my opinion, could very well be a fight of the year contender. Now, if you followed this channel for any length of time, you would know I've been, championing Subriel Matias for quite some time. Not that I think he is like the best guy at 140, but to me, he is the most entertaining. You know, if I were to draw up a list of my top 5, top 6 favourite fighters, he'd be in that list. I really enjoy watching this guy fight. The only issue I have with him, like many fighters in boxing, as far as I'm concerned, he's been far too inactive, which is a shame. But regardless, he's fighting this weekend against Jeremias Ponce, who has a pretty record of 30-0 with 20 knockouts. Subriel Matias, of course, having a record of 18-1, and he actually avenged that only defeat, which of course is a good look. Many of you will know Matias from his fight with Maxim Dadashev, where Dadashev tragically passed away. And after that fight, that's when he took his first loss. He didn't look on the job. He didn't look focused that night. Maybe he came back too soon. But since then, Matias has gone back on his warpath. He stopped the unbeaten Junkunbayev, who was a highly touted prospect. He stopped Junkunbayev. He stopped Malik Hawkins, and he avenged his only defeat. So he's on good form right now, Subriel Matias. Whereas Jeremias Ponce, when you look at his record, most of his wins have come under the radar in Argentina against, I would say, low-level competition. However, most notably, he came to the UK to fight Lewis Ritson. And Lewis Ritson was a favourite in that fight, but Jeremias Ponce came over and, completely did a job on Lewis Ritson. He beat him up, he destroyed him to the body, and eventually stopped him. Really good performance by Ponce, very aggressive, front foot heavy, just like Subriel Matias. And again, I can't see this fight being boring. Both guys do their best work on the front foot. Both guys are aggressive. Both guys maintain a high punch output. Neither guy is exactly known for their defense. And yeah, I just see this being a barn burner, quite frankly. I'd imagine the odds are suggesting this is a close fight, quite an even fight. I would agree with that. I think it's going to be very competitive. I believe both guys, given their styles, given what they bring to the table, both guys will have success in this fight. Though I do favour Subriel Matias in this bout. I just believe he's a bit more battle-hardened. I know he's had less fights, but I would say he's more experienced because he's fought better competition, He's been through hard moments, as we know. And ultimately, he's successfully come back from that, He's shown good perseverance, good dedication since that Dadashev fight. And, but despite both of these guys having similar styles in terms of being front foot aggressive fighters, pressure fighters, both guys are there to be hit, I would still say Subriel Matias has more subtleties to his game. I think he's smoother when it comes to throwing combinations. I believe Matias has a better punch variety. In regards to power, it's hard to say who carries more power. Both guys hit relatively hard, but I wouldn't describe either guy as a one-punch knockout artist. Both guys really rely on attrition and essentially punching the fight out of their opponents via volume, but both guys hit hard enough. Subriel Matias, he's a weird one because you see him fight and he rarely loads up on shots. When you see him throw punches, a lot of his shots look like arm punches, but he's just naturally heavy-handed. Even when he's hitting you on arms and gloves, on the shoulders, his shots just seem to slowly break down his opponents. Again, he beats the fight out of you. He reminds me of Margarito in that regard. Again, rarely loading up, but his shots just have some sort of an impact. One of those sort of guys. And, Ponce, maybe Ponce even has more one-punch knockout power. He certainly loads up more than Matias does, whereas Matias really is... That's the reason why Matias can throw so many punches more than likely, because he rarely loads up. And that's good for his style. One more thing I would say in regards to both of these guys that needs to be considered. Neither guy has great defense. Both guys get hit, but there's one key difference. To me, Jeremias Ponce is far more... He takes the shots head on, basically, right? Doesn't really take any sting out of the punches. Subriel Matias will get hit, but he's got a good knack of turning his body, turning his head, turning his chin, and taking a little bit of sting off shots. He can roll with shots, but he still gets hit, basically. He takes a little bit of sting off his opponent's shots, which allows him to take the shots better. So yeah, both guys get hit a lot, but I still think Matias actually has better defense to a certain degree. Ultimately, this fight will come down, in my opinion, to a war of attrition. I'd be surprised if one guy just gets cleaned out with one shot. I believe that this fight goes several rounds and it's going to get real hard for both guys. I just have more faith in Matias pulling through here in that sort of fight. I think his consistent thudding power throughout the 12 rounds, or however long it goes, will see him through here. Whereas, again, Ponce has to load up more. He has to really get purchase on his punches. And, again, doing that for 12 rounds against Matias might be a struggle if he can't hurt him. I think the safe bet in this fight is Matias. Probably Matias by late knockout as well. But, Ponce definitely has a shot. He'll be competitive. Would it surprise me if he won? No. Ponce, though, is still somewhat of an unknown quantity. We saw him against Ritson, did really well. Dominated Ritson, in fact. But aside from that, I've not really seen too much from him. I've seen a lot more from Subriel Matias. And yeah, but regardless, I guess this is not really a prediction video, but I am picking Matias by late stoppage. This video really is more of a video to make you guys aware of this fight. This is a tremendous fight. Absolutely tremendous fight. A fight fitting for a vacant world title. How many times have we seen these vacant world title fights being contested by one sort of elite fighter and then a bum, where the elite fighter just gets an easy world title, or an A-side fighter gets an easy world title? That's not the case here. I think these two guys are evenly matched, or at least competitively matched. I would favour Matias, but it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great fight. Don't miss this one. If you're in the USA, you have Showtime. Watch this fight, support this fight, and yeah, unfortunately, I don't have Showtime, so I'll either stay up and watch this on live stream, or I'll find a copy the next day. But yeah, this is a great fight that needs to be talked about more. It needs more eyes, but unfortunately, people in this community would rather talk about boxing politics and A side, B side, pay-per-view numbers, etc., etc. That's the community we live in, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Share your thoughts below. How do you see this fight going? Peace.